Good morning, everyone. Clayton BikerCowboy here at Royal Enfield of Portland and Paradise Harley-Davidson. So I've been working on a little project. I know with all these adventure bikes, most of them have lots of information and details. So I kind of took it upon myself to go online and try and make a list for the Royal Enfield Himalayan, similar to a comparable BMW, KTM, any of that. They have a lot more detailed information. So this is my project. Don't hold me to any of these numbers that they're exact. I'm working on it. I'm having some people go over it and trying to make sure they're really exact. I've got about 3 pages of specs on these so far, so I just kind of wanted to share with you guys a little bit about that. So with that being said, this is a 2018 Royal Enfield Himalayan. I'm going to start kind of reading down the spec sheet to you guys as we walk around here. So as we know, this is a single cylinder, 4-stroke, air-cooled, 2-valve motor. It is fuel injected. You still do have an enriching circuit right up here on the handlebar, but it is a fuel injected motor. The displacement's 411 cc's. The bore and stroke, bore is 78 millimeters by an 86 millimeter stroke. It runs a compression ratio of 9.5 to 1. Maximum horsepower on this motor is 24.5 horsepower at 6,500 RPM. The torque rating on this motor is 24 pound-feet at 4,250 RPM. As you can see, there's no Kickstarter on this motorcycle. It is electric start only. The ignition system on this is a digital electronic ignition. It's got a TCI multi-curve program in it, or map in it, I should say. The electrical system on this bike is 12 volt, as is almost everything. Charging output, a lot of people had a question about this for running heated gear, heated grips, etc. So the charging output officially is 220 watts, but that rating is taken at 1500 RPM. So at 4000 RPM, it actually puts out 280 watts. So you've got a little bit more charging. I know some guys that are running heated gloves and stuff and a little heated vest and not having any problem with it at all. The battery is a 12 volt, 8 amp hour battery. The lubrication system on this motor, it is a wet sump motor, 2.2 quarts. The engine oil this bike runs is a semi-synthetic 1550 oil. The clutch system is a wet multi-plate clutch. Transmission is a 5-speed constant mesh. The final drive is a 525 O-ring chain. You can see that down here. The air cleaner is just a paper element. There's no oiling or maintenance of the air cleaner. Moving on to the chassis, the frame is a half duplex split cradle frame with a box section swing arm. Real basic stuff here. The rake and trail, I had to look far and wide to find this. So the rake is 26.5 degrees and the trail is 4.3 inches up here on the front end of the motorcycle. The rear suspension is a monoshock with linkage. It is 7.1 inches of travel and does have adjustable preload. You can see down here at the bottom. The front suspension is telescopic forks. They're 41 millimeter tubes and it has 7.9 inches of travel. Your front wheel, of course these are spoked. They are steel wheels. The front one is 2.75 inch wide rim and it's 21 inches tall. Moving back here to the rear, it's also spoked steel rim. You've got a 3.25 inch wide rim by 17 inches tall. Both those rims are wrapped in Pirelli MT60 tires. The front tire is a 90-90-21 and the rear is a 120-90-17. Moving on to our brakes. You have disc brakes front and rear on this motorcycle. Your front disc is a 300 millimeter disc with a 2-piston floating caliper squeezing on it. In the rear, you've got a 240 millimeter disc with a single piston floating caliper. And now for 19, ABS is an option. So this is an 18, it does not have ABS. That is now optional. The instruments are all 12 volt. You've got a analog speedometer, tachometer, and fuel gauge. You're going to have down on the bottom right is your compass. You have trip A, trip B. You have an outside air temperature. The windscreen is adjustable. Right here on the side, you can see you've got another bolt hole, so you can angle this up a little steeper if you need a little bit more windbreak or it's not quite right for your torso height. The headlight is an H4 60 55 watt halogen bulb stock. The tail light is an 1157 bulb. In Europe, these come with an LED tail light, but I guess for DOT purposes, they went with a different light because it was easier to get DOT approved. Your color options, this is granite. It's kind of a matte black color. And right over here we have snow, which is kind of a pretty white. It's got a little bit of pearlescence to it. So moving right along to page 3, dimensions and capacities. So the wheelbase on this motorcycle is 57.6 inches. Your ground clearance is 8.6. The overall length of this motorcycle is 86.2 inches. The width is 33 inches, and that is measured at the handlebars. And I thought these panniers looked like they were a lot wider, and they're actually not. So if you measure these panniers, I'll try and get a view here. They are actually the same width as the handlebars. So with or without panniers, you're 33 inches wide. The overall height of this motorcycle is 53.5 inches, and that's measured to the top of the windscreen or mirrors, which is about the same height. Seat height of this motorcycle is 31.5 inches. The inner leg curve, that was a measurement I wasn't familiar with. It looks like, I think BMW started that measurement, but basically it's your inseam up and across and back down your inseam. So the inner leg curve measurement on this bike is 75.4 inches. And of course that was not taken on the center stand. Seat to foot peg measurement on this bike is 19.7 inches. Foot peg to handlebar measurement is 36 inches. The curb weight of this motorcycle is 421 pounds. And the payload capacity on this motorcycle is 372 additional pounds. It does have a 4-gallon gas tank. What I found, it says you have about 1.4 gallons left when the fuel light comes on. Recommended fuel for this motorcycle is regular 87 octane. I always run high test in all of my bikes, but this does not require premium grade fuel. The MSRP on this bike, $4,499 US. This is quite a budget-minded motorcycle. Your fuel economy is approximately 75 miles per gallon, so your estimated fuel range comes to about 234 miles. These are some stats I found from a place online that had tested it. As far as performance goes, I said 0 to 60 is about 9.8 seconds. Which is not bad for a little 400-cylinder motor. 400cc single-cylinder motor. Your quarter-mile elapsed time is 18.0 seconds. And top speed, I've gotten some different feedback on this, but it's just north of 80 miles an hour. I found somewhere they said it was 80 miles an hour at 6,500 RPM, which is the rev limit of this motor. So people I talked to have checked it on GPS, and they will in fact go a little bit faster, but I would say you're right between 80 to 85 miles an hour. Me having ridden these, I'm definitely a heavier guy. 65, 68 miles an hour is pretty comfortable to cruise on it. So anyways, I just wanted to share with you guys my list of facts that I've found. If you have any questions, give me a call here at Royal Enfield of Portland. Ask for Clayton Biker Cowboy. I'm always here. Come down, test ride one of these, put your hands on it, feel it, check it out. I will own one someday soon. They are an awesome motorcycle for the price. So thank you all for tuning in. If you have any questions, DM me on here, hit me up. Give me a call. Come down here and see me. Hope y'all are out there riding. Stay on 2 wheels, keep the rubber side down, and be safe. Biker Cowboy out.